Oh, I am so sorry I did not catch the loop. Oh, terrible, terrible, unprofessional, horrible people here. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, we're just loading in. Normally, I'm sitting here like 20, 30 minutes beforehand and get a couple things done and etc. Today, we're running a little bit behind. Um, hey, audio check sounds good. So we'll take that out. Awesome. But yeah, we just recently got out of the shower here, so my hair's still a little bit wet. Got our coffee, got our Gatorade. Got these too. Oh my gosh, let me show you these. I love these things. Holy cow. Not a sponsor, but if they ever want, go. These are garlic and herb roasted cashews from odds and ends. Very good. My like go-to snack. That and these little guys here. Grapes. Trying to eat Jesus Christ. Oh, trying to eat healthy, you know? Okay, so. Sorry. Back to the deep desert we go. I said in the description there, I've been working on my deep desert from the first week I went out there, that video, and twisting it and changing things and recording stuff. And like, do I do 2 parts? Do I do 3? Is it too much? And that's what happens to me whenever I make a video. I tend to spiral myself into chaos where I'll try to tweak this, tweak that, move this, da, da, da. Some of my best videos, you think I would learn, but some of the best videos I've done have just fired from the hip. Here we go. The more I think about it, the more changes I make, and then the longer it takes, and then I get to a certain point where, in my own opinion, it's just a bunch of ridiculous crap, and I don't want to put it out there. But um, so I thought one thing I could do is cover the stuff in what I want to put in that video in this live stream, and we could piecemeal it together from there. So it's kind of like you're watching it, live, and you can say you were live and in person. Got to see the incidents as they occurred. But that's what we're going to cover here today. So, I wonder why that stopped. Oh, I think it was when I took my earbud out. Okay, 18%. Got to fix that. Sounds like I got Buddy behind me. I sure do. Say hi. Hey. Say hi to everybody. Can they see you? Yeah, you can barely see you, but yeah, you're there. There you go. So he's my co-pilot tonight. Mrs. Rabbit's working late, so expect cats and cat butts and all sorts of chaos. But anyway, so let's talk about the deep desert. Okay, so they just did a patch update today, which has kind of changed some things. The worms are supposed to be more responsive with a 50% chance of a quick attack type thing, where instead of spawning way far away and taking forever to get over there, they might be getting a little close. We'll test that out. They have spread out some of the titanium stravidium nodes. They are closer in the A section, the A row, the very first row, and that is solidly in the P. We'll have to edit that out, but that's solidly in the PVE section, which means you can go in there, and although it takes a long time and it's not the most efficient way because they're so spread out, you can actually get these tier 6 materials and bring them back or process them out there. So there's some minor changes and differences in the way we're going to do things. But the first step in going out to the deep desert starts in Haga Basin, and you need to prepare. What kind of things do you need to prepare for? Well, first off, you need to have one of these. This is a Mark 6 cutter array. You don't have to have this specific one, but you have to have a cut array that is capable of breaking down titanium or stravidium. And that is the Mark 6. I don't believe a Mark 5 can do it. To make one of those, we have to run all the way over here because I don't have things close. I think it's in here. Yeah, there's the Mark 6 cutter array. Let's see, where's the Mark 5? Is it here? Okay, well, that's bored me already, so we'll do it this way. Let's see. I think you're under here, right? Yes. Okay, so let's take a look at the Mark 1. The Mark 1, if you do the Alt tab here, boop, shows you what it can break down. In this case, copper, granite, salvage metal, and iron. That's what you start out with. You make better ones, they can do more things. When you get to the Mark 4, you can do jasnium, basalt, aluminum, etheric, carbon. Basically, what you're doing is you're just progressing through the different metal stages. When it's the copper, iron, then aluminum, duraluminum, etc. When you get to the Mark 5, the Mark 5 can break down titanium and stravidium. Every time you do break down a node, you're going to get 36 out of it. Not much, but it's better than nothing. And that is in the duraluminum phase. What you want to do is make a Mark 5, and let's bring this back up, sorry. You want to make a Mark 5 so that that gets you enough titanium and stravidium for you to be able to make a Mark 6. As you can see, Mark 6 requires 50 plastanium ingots. So you're going to use the Mark 5 to get the Mark 6 because the Mark 6 can pull 48. Doesn't sound like much, but when you're way out there, it really is. It's going to be a shorter amount of time you're spending out in the desert to get these items. The whole process becomes quicker. And if you're actually going to go out to the large nodes, it's dangerous. You know, you're in a PvP section. You could get jumped. You could get attacked. So the less time you spend on the ground mining, the better. And that little 12 increase is going to be really huge. There is another option. I don't think I have one. It is called the Taro Cut Array. Now, they just did some changes to that. Apparently, it was spawning in the wrong area. So now it is spawning in the correct. I definitely went too far. Here you go. So the Taro Cut Array is a schematic that you can get from the Odum, whatever it is. And this thing actually compares very well with a Mark 6 cutter array, but it doesn't cost as much to get, and you can do it with duraluminum instead of doing it with plastanium. So you've got basically two options. You could either make a Mark 5, go out, get some of the materials you need, come back and make a Mark 6, or you could go after the Taro Cut Array schematic, which you'll have to do some, I think it's in 71, maybe, don't quote me on that, but it's in the testing station in the Odom. And there's also a couple other areas that you might be able to pull it. I think Stepstones has it, or that might have been the one they moved. But regardless, there's no point in going out to the deep desert if you can't cut the materials. That being said, if things are bad enough to where you can't get the materials to break these things down, you can actually go out into the deep desert and just pick up the stuff that's on the ground. That'll take forever, and it's no fun, but if you had to, you could do that. My suggestion, to either get the Taro or do the 5 to the 6. Once you've got a cutter array that can break down these materials, then you're set to go, at least in that aspect. Okay, the next thing that you're going to want is something here. You're going to want a compactor. This is for any of the spice blooms that you do come across. Any one will work. It's not like the cutter arrays are. So any compactor can get the job done. It just depends on how much worm attraction you get, how much power, and what the gather rate is. Here you'll see this is very high. This is basically a tier 6 one. But yeah, I use either the Omni Static. There's also from You can get the schematic for a compactor, which is even less uh, worm attraction. But you're going to need to have some kind of a compactor. Dealer's choice, to be honest with you. Preferably, if you can get the Omni, go for the Omni. If not, go for an industrial. Work your way up. Same thing with the cutter array. Just work your way up until you get the better and the most efficient pieces. Another thing you're going to need, some kind of a welding torch. This may not be as drastic as it used to be, but I have found myself constantly repairing wings and engines and PSUs on these long trips back and forth with the deep desert. Even though you can vulture and glide through so much of it, you're really putting some wear and tear in your vehicle. I always carry a welding torch and welding wire and fuel cells with me whenever I go out there, just to make sure that I don't get stuck and I don't lose my stuff. So those are the three things that I would suggest that you really need to have when you go out there. Another thing that's important is either a still suit or armor. And depending on which route you go with that, you may want to have some of the leader johns in order to have some water. I care less about sunstroke than I do about speed and efficiency. That's my personal choice. So once I hit a field or hit something, I'll stay out in the sun long. That comes more into play with spice than it does with your Stravidium and your titanium, because you can hop out, use your cutter array, break down a node of titanium, and then you get back into your ornithopter and away you go. And once you get back in, that heat stroke bar is going to start coming down. So going after those two materials, Stravidium and titanium, the mats, heat is less of a factor, even if it's broad daylight. And there's not too many places to hide. Most of the time when I'm seeking shade out in the deep desert, I'm getting it from my own ornithopter. There are some structures and some places that you can get it. When you're harvesting spice, you're in the wide open. Having a still suit gives you more time to harvest, and you don't have to worry about dehydrating, and you have options. But it also makes you weak to attack. Having armor means that you've got to pay attention to your water management better, but if somebody does try to attack you, at least you're going to have some defense. So to be honest, you really have to kind of put it, on your server and on your playstyle as to which one. I'm lucky enough to where I'm quick enough and fast enough, pay enough attention, and I've got a pretty decent deep desert server that PvP is not always happening and people aren't jumping each other on too regular of a basis. And when it does happen, it's known. So I go with the still suit, and I use my still suit water to help keep the heat stroke at bay, but otherwise I don't care about it. My suggestion to you would be to go with the armor and carry some extra leader johns. You don't need the really big ones. You want to get the smaller ones because, you're out there mining, and that 15 weight is going to come in handy. You can keep one of these in your thopter, but I wouldn't carry it around on me too much, and only switch it over when you absolutely have to. But yeah, carry a couple of the smaller leader johns. That'll get you through what you need to do. I also was able to make these. These are the soft step boots. What this does is knock that worm threat down by 45%. So I don't know what that's going to do with this new patch that they've added, where the worms are a little more uncontrolled, a little more naughty. They're misbehaving just like we are. So we're going to see that tonight. But as far as Haga Basin goes, there are a lot of times where I'll be able to take a complete small spice bloom and harvest it without triggering a worm. Sometimes, depending on the situation, maybe they will come. It's very rare that I would see them twice. So I can usually get a little over half the field, and then he'll summon, shoot up in the air, wait till he goes away, come back down, get the rest, and I'm gone. There are times where I've never even seen a worm. In the deep desert, previously, I was able to do small fields very quickly and very easily without ever seeing a worm. It was a little different. Don't know what it is now. We'll have to see. But if you can get these, the problem with that is you need spice infused plastanium dust. The only place to get those is the testing stations out in the deep desert, and that means PvP. So your choice. Might be able to buy them from the auction house. I don't know. They'll probably go quick and they'll probably be insanely expensive. Until then, I was just wearing my regular old steel suit boots and things were doing fine. So we have our required equipment and what I consider required equipment. We got our gear loaded up on some water. We're almost ready to go. Next thing you're going to need is an ornithopter. So my first full week of going out into the deep desert was done in this little guy right here. This is my tier 5 ornithopter. Storage boxes on it. It is a scout, so I have no weapons built onto it. This is simply for gathering materials and taking them from wherever I am to where I want to go. With that in mind, I'm committing myself to a non-aggressive stance in playstyle. And that is something that's very key. If you aren't carrying weapons, it does kind of free you up because that means that escape and evasion is your only route. So if you see another player or if somebody decides that you look like an easy mark, or if you do start to get attacked, you jump in and you don't have to worry about aiming. You don't have to worry about trying to line up shots or positioning. You're just escape and evasion and away you go. You can't have storage boxes and rockets at the same time. It's one or the other. So if you do put rockets on here so that you can defend yourself, the only spice or mats that you can get is what you can stick in your backpack. And that ain't much. So that's a tough way to live. My method is I put the storage boxes on and we are completely escape and evasion. I play it safe. I stay aware. If trouble finds me, I get away. But you got to make the choice yourself as to what you want to do. And yeah, my advice: escape and evade. Go with a scout. Go something light. Storage boxes over rockets. Don't worry about it. This tier 5 did well. I was able to spend an entire week. My first week was solely in this, and one of the reasons that I went out there was in order to get the titanium Stravidium to make the plastanium, so that I could make this little beauty right over here. This is a tier 6 scout thopter. Boy, why are your wings deployed on this side? Once I had finished my first week, I was able to make this because it is a plastanium level vehicle. So, hey, the wings went back. Must have heard me. So that's why, that's really the reason why I went out there, was to get this. The spice was nice, but this was the reason. I wanted this. It's faster. It's a little more durable. As far as efficiency and size, capacity, it's no different. But it's faster, it's more maneuverable, and I love that aspect of it. When I'm in Haga, I'm using my old one, the T5, because the wear and tear on that is so much easier to replace because if I have to make a new set of wings, it only requires duraluminum, which I can make tons of and have tons of. I'm still kind of at the stage where plastanium, I have a bunch of it, but I don't like wasting it. I kind of treat it like gold for right now because we're not so high in the reserves that we could be silly. But any deep desert runs are this. If the gloves are coming off, then we got this bad boy right here, which has the rocket pods built on it. So this is just this is a warship, not a carrier. There are lots of people that they look at this and they say, okay, let's take a look at the scout, right? So we'll come over here. And I'll put some Stravidium fiber in there. That's fine. If you look down here, this little guy got a bunch of stuff in here that I'm bringing out to the deep desert. I'll explain that in a second, but she got 500. It's not a lot. You can only put 500 volume in. What are you doing? Whereas Can't do it with this one because, like I said, rockets or storage boxes. But this one has storage boxes applied. And we can see here that we've got 1,000, so it's double, which is awesome. It means you can carry twice as much out. But I'll warn you, you're slower, you're less maneuverable, and you're a bigger target. Until you get a handle on the way things work out there, don't bring an assault. You need to get your timing down. You need to get an understanding down. You need to understand the distances you're covering and the potential for fighting. Let's say you get out there and your deep desert is just, like a hippie concert and everybody's full of love and everything, and they just want to help. Well, you know what? Bring whatever you want. There's no threat to being attacked. Chances are it's not going to be that way. So if there's any question of conflict, do you want to be in a faster, more maneuverable vehicle or a slower, less agile? They did make this better with this patch, but dude, I don't enjoy flying the assaults. For those of you who have a driver's license or drive a vehicle, I kind of equate it to getting off the interstate and driving on a side street. Like, I can't go 65, 70 miles an hour and then all of a sudden be down to 30. Like, dude, what the hell? It does something to me. I have issues, so maybe you don't. But I very rarely like to take this. The only time I take this out in the deep desert is if I'm fighting some people or in the initial transportation to get my base started, or if I have a bunch of stuff at my base and I need to bring it back so the extra storage is good. But then I'm never leaving the PvE section, so it's not that far of a trip. I can deal with it at least for that amount of time. But if we're actively going after mats and spice, I go scout all the way. I'd rather be fast and maneuverable, get out of situations before they become a problem, than big and bulky. There's also some kind of an issue where sometimes an assault just doesn't want to leave the ground. And I'm a little scared, I'm going to admit, I'm a little scared that with the new changes to the worms and them being aggroed a little quicker, inconsistent liftoff is not something that's high on my list of things to have. So my advice, go with the scout, go with the small one, get some experience, then make your own decisions. Yeah, it's really great to have twice as much space, but none of that's going to matter if they take it away from you. The last thing I want to say before we lift off and take wings up and head out there, when you go to the deep desert, never go out there with stuff that you can't afford to lose, because you might. Whether it's to another player if you get attacked, whether it's to a mistake where a worm gets you, whether you get caught in a sandstorm and stranded. There's a lot of different ways to die out in the deep desert. They don't all involve a bunch of guys flying around a helicopter shooting at you. But if you go out there without, like, let's say you take your T5 ornithopter and you can't make another one, you do not have the materials to make another one. If you get shot down and it's destroyed, it's going to be devastating. You're going to be out of the deep desert for however long it takes you to make another one. And then any of the gear that you've lost. So even if you really want to get out there and like, oh, I want to get out there and try it out and get the T6 stuff, if you can't replace what you're carrying and you are at the point where losing that is going to be pretty devastating and life altering, you're not ready yet. I would suggest that you have a couple cutter arrays, maybe 2, and maybe 3 of the compactors, because they do break quick if you're doing really well. And if something bad happens, there you go. Me personally, I could go out there and die in this T6, and I can fall back to the T5 and I'm right back out there. If I lost the T5 immediately, I can make another one right now. I think I can lose that one and make another one after that. I've got enough of the materials built up and saved up so that I don't have to worry about, let me move this in case people say bad stuffs. But in case In case I lose things, it's not going to be devastating. It's going to suck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be thrilled. And it's happened, and I wasn't. But until you can say, all right, if this stuff gets taken away from me, I'll be all right. Now you're ready. Don't go out unless you can replace or deal with the loss of the things that you have. And before you know it, you'll be at the point where you'll be like me, being able to make a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, I did tell you that, sorry, I got to look. I got my microphone in a weird position right now. There we go. That should be better. I'm not too loud. Yeah, be all right. So I'm getting ready to head to the deep desert, and this thing is full, as you can see, and my backpack is heavy. What this is I went out and I built a base. This is another point of discussion as to whether or not you want to just ferry these materials from the deep desert back to Haga, or if you want to build a small base out there and use that as your operations. There are pros and cons for each one. Um, Ferrying back and forth, much quicker. You immediately start working, and you'll get enough materials that there is value in it. The cons takes a while, takes a long time because you're doing a lot of transit time, and it also has a lot of space between. Now that kind of be all right because you do have to replenish your water. There's some refinery time before materials come out, um, but it is much more involved. And previously, it was really terrible because wings are so fragile on these things; they break down so quick. They said that they reduced the wear and tear on your ornithopter wings, so we'll see. If they took that away, then that's even more of a reason to ferry back and forth. Engines and PSUs still take some damage regularly. But so there's no investment. You don't have to build a base. You don't have to carry items out there. You just immediately start going out, get your things, and go back. But it is a lot of travel time, and you're going to need a lot of fuel cells, and you're going to need a lot of repair parts and repair things. So, yeah, as far as building a base goes out there, initially you're probably going to lose your first day out in the deep desert, or at least half of your first day, just building your base. And it's going to take a while for you to get an idea of what size you can do. I would suggest that you immediately go with an advanced subfeed. It's a little bit bigger, gives you more options. We're going to go out and see my base. This week I have done a base. Last week I didn't build one out in the deep desert, but I did ferry back and forth. So like everything I do, I kind of, I don't abandon one method for another. Both of them get incorporated into what I'm doing. So, but like I said, it takes a lot of time and a lot of materials to build a base. However, everything you put out there, when you destroy it, you get 100% of it back. Here in Haga, if you build a fabricator and then you're like, I don't like it, you destroy it, you'll get some materials back, but not as many as it took to make them. In the deep desert, everything you get 100% return, so you don't lose anything. But then again, however long it took you to get stuff back or stuff out there, it's going to take you to get stuff back if you care enough to bring everything. But that does give you a spot out in the deep desert where you're going to be refining because materials are heavier than what you make them into. Um, Titanium ore and stravidium masses way more per quantity than the titanium, the plastonium ingots that you make out of those two. So you can ferry back a whole bunch more materials than you can raw materials, if that makes sense. Um, that is the biggest benefit of building a base out in the deep desert. The second benefit is it gives you some space. It gives you a little spot of your own where you can do repairs, where you can collect your thoughts, make a decision. You could even land and log out. And you know what? Wait until your materials are so many that you can fill up your ornithopter and make one trip instead of making so many back and forth. Um, so if you have the materials and you don't care about the amount of time, I think bases are preferable. There's quite a few people are making bases out in like the A row, which is the very first row, because it cuts down that shuttle time going back and forth. But then you're having longer times heading out and gathering things. But the first time, go ahead and ferry. I mean, I can't say that one method is better than the other. One's a little more efficient, but one takes a whole lot more investment. And maybe your first week, I would do the ferry concept, just bring it back and forth until you start getting the hang of it. Once you get a little bit more, under your belt, you kind of understand the way things go. Then you can focus on building a base and processing ores out there. So yeah. The one thing I don't think I have is I don't think I have any spare fuel cells, and I'm not sure if I can add any. We should be able to add some there, right? I'm bringing lubricants, filters, a ton of water, some dead bodies, some materials that I need in order to make one more thing, and yeah, and then some Stravidium fibers that the last time I was out there, I didn't have the titanium to make ingots, so I just had to bring them back as a whole. So I'm going to take them back out there because now that I have a base, I can... how many am I going to be able to bring? Oh, look, they did change it. So these things used to be all the same, like the small, medium, and large. They all look the same. They said they were going to change it. So yeah, I noticed that right away. Very cool. Thank you. How many can I take? We go get 3. Could drop some fibers if I want to, but you know what? 2 is going to be good enough. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I was smart enough to have some out in the deep desert base, just spares in case I needed them. Although I may have used it because I needed a spare. We'll have to see. All right, we are off, folks. I want you to notice right away, this is not a good ship to be taken out there right now. I've got orange on my wings, orange on my motor, and my PSU. But I'm going to do it anyway, because that's how we roll. With my welding torch, I'll be able to repair some of that damage, but the reason that that's concerning is because the deep desert is a dangerous place. And whether you get attacked by other players or you get caught by... Why is there a huge... Oh, is that a ship? Oh, okay. I thought that was like... The weather lady has not been impressive as of late, so I don't trust anything that I'm seeing out here. Yesterday I was out in the deep desert. I'm flying. She pops up. She goes, "Warning, sandstorm confirmed in the sector." And I'm like, there was no countdown. There was no timer, and I'd been out there for a while. And it was on me, and I got caught in it. And I took a bunch of damage, and it actually downed me twice. So thanks, weather lady. I appreciate it. I'm going to put about 20% of that on my own problem because look around, dude. You know, it's like if a sandstorm sneaks up on you, you got issues. But I'd gotten too used to the weather lady being correct, and she let me down. I don't know if you watched my content, you'll remember. So this pyramid base is almost all but gone. The other day, that actually was structures, and it just collapsed like you wouldn't believe. That one is getting further along. Won't be long before that one's gone. 'Tis a shame. I had to abandon the base I was babysitting in the hopes that a player came back because I can't build a base out in the deep desert if I've got 3 in Haga Basin. So we abandoned that one, and here we are. Now we hit the ground hard. Ouch. Okay, so fly to the edge of the map, brings you out into the world map. And from here, we are going to go up this way to the deep desert. Doesn't matter which one of these 3 you come into, they all lead to the same place, but it's really going to matter is where you built your base. Now, I'm going to potentially, let's see here. Let me see. I'm going to switch this one. There you go. It's big, huge me. Let me see if I can Alt-Tab into this. Yes, I can. All right, we'll go back to widescreen. This is from Method GG, and they have a map of the deep desert. So when you come out to the deep desert, The left entrance is here, center's here, the right one's here. This shows you every week they update this, and it shows you where all the different stuff is. And in this case, you can see that the Jesus Christ, dude! Hey! It's all right. You can see that the materials are. Hey, you got to get down. Can't do that. We're live. We're live. You can see these materials are here in the center, and they're also here on the right side. So when I built my base, I was looking for an area somewhere around in here that I could get to either one relatively quick. So we're going to actually fly to the center because, like I said, I kind of centered my base. And we're going to take a look at a couple things. Got the cool world music map. World map music. Quick cup of coffee. Calm down. Yeah, you're better now. Here we are in the deep desert. For some of you, this might be the first time you've been here. For the rest, then you have maybe some people never come here and never will. But you always spawn right here in the ground. And this is something new that has occurred. It's weird. Why did it request that again? So you'll see I've got a base icon here. This is where I built my base. One of the changes that they've made just today is this opening area, which is known as, if you see here, I'm in A6. This A row actually has tier 6 materials right now. I am heading towards some titanium right there. So you no longer have to go all the way out into the scary areas of the deep desert. This is a solid PvP zone. No one can kill you out here. The sun can, but people can't. So as long as you stay away from things like ships and like the stations, you just look at the top, and if you see a yellow band instead of a red one, you're great. And you'll be able to farm some of these materials. They're pretty spread out, but we should be able to find, we go up on the rocks or on the edges, we should be able to find another block. Let's go check this thing. See if we can find another block of titanium or some strabidium. And this is actually rather huge. These items used to spawn in these areas. There'd only be like one or two. It was so hard to find them. And that meant that you had to, okay, see, here's another titanium. This would have been the same amount, like the two we just saw. Is probably how much was in the PvE zone last week. It just didn't happen. It was more spread out further north in the PvP zone, kind of making you earn a little bit. But this is a good thing because it was a stopping point for a lot of people. They did have some issues. They couldn't get out here if the server's nasty. The other thing is you can build a base out here, and you could bring a buggy and run through these areas because there's no worms. And you can scan these. The buggy will be able to break more than your hand cutter, but you have to have a Mark 6 cutter array or the real fancy cutter array. But yeah, there should be some, buddy, I said we're live. You can't do that. Hey, you can't do that. You gotta play with the kitty someplace else. We should be able to find a Stravidium node somewhere. Let's see. That's not it. That's not it. That's not one. I love the maneuverability here. Go up in this rock wall here, and we'll see what we can find. Should be able to find some Stravidium somewhere. That looks like copper from here. And it was. But this is nice. This helps break down the wall that some strictly PvE players, not even remotely interested in the danger that the PvP zone and the deep desert had to offer. This gives you an option. So you can actually come out here, grab these. There's some Stravidium right there and some more titanium. No, yeah, right there. This gives you the option if you can't build a base or don't want to. In these open areas right here, you'll be able to mine some. Not a whole lot, but you will be able to mine some, and it does make your transit time much less. That was the biggest issue, was it takes so much time to go back and forth. I unfortunately can't grab any of this because, as you saw, we are packed to the brim with supplies. So it is time to head to our base. Oh my goodness, this dog. I gotta kick you out of here. So, as far as flying out here, it's the same thing as Haga Basin, except it's way bigger. What you're going to do is try to put that dot right in the center for a scout. Once you've vultured, you should be able to maintain your speed. So that 182 should stay the whole way through. And we'll drop 1 meter at a time over time. But it's not that much. If you watched any of my previous content, you'll see I take my hands off the wheel all the time when we're vulturing. And also, because it's a PvE zone, no one has to attack me. I don't have to get silly. All I need is the nasty weather lady to come up and tell me something, if she decides to this time. If I didn't have a bunch of stuff on me, I'd have picked up some of those materials and those nodes and then moved on to the base. And I'm also obviously always taking keeping an eye on any kind of spice blooms that you might see. So we've covered almost half the distance, I would say. And we're still at 590 in altitude, which is still pretty good, and that 182 is holding fine. My first base was very small, was too small actually, so I kind of learned from that to make it a little bit bigger. So I made a bigger base, which worked out well. And the third time I was out here, when I built a base, I built it up high. That was what I called my yeet base, because half the time when I landed in it, it would just yeet me and my ornithopter out of the hangar, and we just fall to the ground. I mean, thankfully there's no fall damage for vehicles, but I'd have been pretty upset with that. So for this one, we kept ourselves on the ground, didn't go up high in the air. And so far it's working out pretty good. We went a little bit bigger, did a more sideways version. Not completely happy with the downstairs setup, but it's working. This one we might actually do the scan tool to, get everything. That way we don't have to constantly rebuild them. So I'll show you. If you hit the T button, it tells you where you are. We're in D7. We'll transition to E here in just a second. And that is the zone that is split halfway between PvE and PvP. So we're still safe here. People won't attack us or our base. But if we go just a little bit farther north, bad things will occur. And as you can see, we are here. And there we are. Just moved into D8. Oops, sorry. Just moved into D8. Should say E here real soon. I think I wanted to be over in like these areas, but they were already taken. So maybe we did move all the way back to D. I don't know. But there you go. Nice little square base. I do 2 power units on the top of those omnidirectional and 2 large wind fans, wind traps. And that's where I get a majority of the power and the water from. Got ourselves a nice little hangar right here. The wings hit me. Spare spot for some generators, because you do need standard power. And we got some more generators over here, a couple storage boxes. I've got a medium chemical refinery. That's what does the Stravidium fibers to make, Stravidium mass into Stravidium fibers. And then I've got a medium ore refinery. I could go with a large one if I really wanted to. It's a little more efficient, but it'll be all right. And then the rest is generators. I got a bunch of water here and a death still. So first things first, excuse me, I'm so sorry. We have to unload. And we will drop some bodies off. See this? I made an extra set of T6 wings. We're going to be putting those on before we head back out because I don't trust the wings I have on right now. I think they're more than likely to break down. And last night we did really well mining, but we did run out of water, so I set it up to run, let it build whatever it could build, and then we went to bed. So we're going to solve that problem as well. So this is all the extra stuff that I brought out when I was building. This was a mistake. I didn't mean to bring this, but I accidentally did, so some wasted trip. And like I said, I've still got a couple machines that I'm thinking about building. I might want to put another desto in, depends. Maybe some more water tanks, but I don't have the steel ingots for that. So we'll have to see. But anywho, we're going to drop you guys in here. Apparently I got to put that in the other thing. I'm going to drop you guys right there. Yes, I was smart enough to still have one, so we're going to actually move another one over there. This we have to put in the right spot, and I think let's just triple tap those. So now I'm down. I don't know why I have a radiation suit. It's just silly. Yeah. So the rest of the stuff I could like drop this off or drop the handheld scanner, but honestly 65 out of 175 is good enough. Since you have an ornithopter, you're going to be constantly transferring the weight over to that, and that little bit at the end where we're not going to have the full amount. There's worse things in the world. All right, so first thing to do is we're going to check our water. And it's completely full, 151,000. So this happened overnight. This is why those large wind traps are so good. Is when you get home, you eat dinner, take a shower, calm down, whatever you want to do, and you're just like, oh, I'm going to play Dune Awakening. When you load up and head directly to the deep desert, everything is ready to go. You got full water. If you have a system that's built for you to bring water out, or you need to actively do something like a desto where you got to put a body in so that it'll break it down, you might come out with nothing. There's no water here. So those large traps definitely pay off. But yeah, water is full. So the first thing we're going to do, we can come over here. We've got a bunch of this, the Stravidium fibers for already. So I'm going to set up, it's nice. I'm going to set up as many plastanium ingots as I can make. In this case, I can make 120. It's awesome. And that took all our water, and we're still good on ores. It's crazy. We'll take this since we're standing here. And we'll come over here. And I like to put this in this bottom corner just to keep it straight. So as you can see, we've got a ton of those materials. So that was scary. We got a ton of these materials, but not a whole lot of Stravidium, and we've got quite a bit of that. So we got some work to do. First thing I'm going to do after getting the machines running is we're going to come up here, and I want to check on my units upstairs. Always make sure your power units are good to go. I still got 2 days. I brought some extra ones. We'll deposit both of them, but honestly, I'm going to go to the storage, and I guess I could have done it in the first place. We'll take one of them out. So now I got 3 days, and that should allow me to get 3 days out of this one as well. Nope, it's only got 1 day, so we got 2 days. But 2 days is enough. That gets me through now and tomorrow, and then the next day I'd have to come out and be like, oh, my water's shut down. Bad things. Let's take a look at our power, see how many days we have for this. So I got 3 days here, probably had the same amount in the other one. Why doesn't it not allow me? Oh, it's probably still in the, let's check the other one. I'm sorry. It's probably still in the ornithopter, so might have to switch it over. So yeah, I got 5 days worth of power generation from here. And we got 3 days and 14 hours. So you can only have a base running out here for 1 week because there's a Coriolis storm that resets everything. So your base either gets destroyed or you have to tear it down. Just depends on which route you want to go. So if you can get 7 days worth of power and water generation, you don't have to worry about it anymore. All right, so this was the lower one of the two. So we're going to go ahead and deposit all these. And now I've got 16 days, which is absolutely ridiculous. So we'll pull out 125, close enough. And we'll see what it has now. 8 days. So there you go. She's done. This one was like 6 something. Oh, 5 days. I'm just going to put it all in there and leave it at 13. Doesn't matter. So now I don't have to worry about power. I still have to make some filters. I have them made, so I just have to bring them. But I have to bring filters out to keep the water flowing. That's it. Otherwise, she's good to go. Oops, sorry. Last thing I do have to do, though, is I want to check the status of my regular generators and see how long these guys are going to run. 9 days. So we should be good. About to sneeze. So hold on a second. Sorry about that. I'm going to spare you that horrendousness. My circuit is stable for 9 days. They added stuff in here. So here's your power. Power generated. My usage is 45. I got 900 available. That's awesome. I used up all my water, so the reserves are low. And storage, whatever. But yep, there you go. So I don't need to worry about power generation. I still need to keep an eye on water. So that's awesome. Stuck on my own handrail, man. Now, what we'll do is we will pull all of our water that we have stored in here over to our backpack, which fills us up horrendously. And we're going to come over here. And they added this in, which is really cool to have the deposit all. Unfortunately, I still have these guys on, so once I do that, I'll have to refill them. I was wondering, like, each time you click the button, you would see some usage, some deterioration on how long this thing can last. But I wondered if deposit all is going to take a big chunk or not. So let's deposit all water and let's watch. I think it took down how much it normally would. I'm glad that it took all of them out and I didn't have to go to different cisterns since they're all tied in together. But yeah, we're back up to 42. So we can go make something with that. Take a look here. Where are we as far as these materials? We've got 600 fibers and 442 titanium items. So we can add another 34 and that should... It'll probably bail out the water again, won't it? Yep. Okay. Sorry. So now I've got 142 waiting to be made, 1 in the process, and 11 that are already finished. Huge amount. I just started and I've already got 100 plus plastanium being made, and I had 40 sitting here waiting for me. So great day so far. I don't need these anymore, so we can move these over because they do take up quite a bit of space. And we're going to bring one of these guys over. And those we're going to have to refill when we head over. So I'm going to put this little thing, we're going to turn this on. I leave things off when I'm not using them. It's always a good way to go. There we are. So this takes 50 minutes before it turns this guy into 45,000 in water. Fill containers. A little low. Should have done that before I set the plastanium ingots to go. That was a bit of a mistake, but we'll be all right. We'll survive this. What I was thinking about doing was I was thinking about making another death still. While we're waiting for water to fill up, let's go ahead and do that. And that's why I brought those silicone blocks. They should enable me to make another one. Before I do that, though, we definitely want to check this. 350, 1675. We add 350 to this, we'll be right around 14 to 1500. So we're cutting it close, but we're still okay. If I were to make this and it was more power than I'm generating, then it would shut my base down. And that would be bad. There we go. So yes, I brought enough of the stuffs. So we can set this right there is good enough. We're going to go get another body. That way we have 100,000 water in a 15-minute time frame. But we are out of bodies. I think, well, no. Is there one in over here? No, there's none in here. So my next trip, when I ferry items back and forth, we're going to bring a bunch of dead bodies. I have a bunch in a box, so that'll work. Let's fill the containers again, and we'll see where we're at. As long as we have one filled, we're good. We do have a ton of still suit water. But anyway, so I got 100,000 there, plus the wind traps. Everything's running good. That's running. We don't need to have that going yet. Let's take a look at our stats as far as materials go. So we have a good amount of this. We need some Stravidium, but we have a ton sitting here waiting to go. So honestly, titanium's going to become the priority. And that's going to be the first thing that we do right now. Hi. You showing your butt to everyone. Do you know that? Wanna say something? Go meow. I got stuff to do. I'm trying to show people how to play in the deep desert, and you come running up. Okay, I'm gonna put you down though. Anywho, so I'm at the point now where I'm like, hey, let's go out there and let's go get some materials. Need to make sure that I put my cutter array back on instead of this. Would hate to jump down out and be like, all right, let's do it. And I'm trying to build a sub fee for something stupid. So make sure that we're set. We're ready to go. Last thing I want to do is I want to bring out the old welding torch. I have no ability to repair right now, but there should be some welding wire in here. There isn't. See if I have welding wire in the box. I do. If you don't, doesn't take much of this to make welding wire. So always have some salvage metal. Laying around on the ground outside is going to be a ton of fuel cell boxes and salvage metal. So you can always get those while you're out here. Don't have to worry about it. You just got to make sure you take the time to turn it into actual welding wire. So let's go to repair. We'll do it a couple times. Storage boxes are okay. They're above 75%. I'm happy. Engine. It's probably about 66%. So we're about 2/3. Generator, I'm sorry. It's not the best, but we can do. We can do. The engine, same thing. About 66%. I'm going to be happy with that. We're good here. Good on the body. These are the problem children right here. Even though we're over half, they're still somewhat damaged. Why does this matter? And why is it somewhat dangerous to go out there with wings that are halfway healed? Because in case you run into trouble, if somebody shoots rockets at you, your wings are probably going to take a brunt of the force. And if they're already hurt, I've done half the work for anybody else. And that's not cool. You don't need to help people when they're trying to beat you. So that's terrible. So what we're going to do is, for safety's sake and better judgment, we are going to cut these wings off, even though half isn't bad. And we're going to replace them with those other set of wings that I made. And again, they said that they were going to change this so the wings don't deteriorate as much. We shall see. I'm going to come down here. Boop. go here, and we're going to drop these wings off. You know what? I'll just pop those because we're going to do this. Bring in my 4, and then I'm going to move these guys down. It seems funny that something is I mean, look at these. I use these guys without a care in the world. But if I go out there and try to mine some materials, I don't think people are going to be shooting my leader johns. They will be shooting the wings. So this is just a safety precaution. What do I do What do I do later? I mean, those wings are still good. They're still 0.5% when I'm hanging. Oh, that thing looks weird. When I'm hanging around Haga Basin, if I ever do take this thing out, then we'll be good to go. But just this short little process here. That's what I'm trying to do, man. Really technical bastards. Okay, so they're on there. The last thing I want to do is we're going to hop in. Let's go ahead and refuel. So we're at 100% fuel. Wings look beautiful. Engine, generator still a little bad. Let's take a look. That's enough to care about. These things have to go. And I got stuck on my wings. So when that happens, just get to the back, get away from the wings. You'll be okay. We actually could. Why did it not allow me? Oh, I know why. Because they're in the bird, not in our backpack. I hate that so much. Get a little too excited in my button pushing. All right, let's go back to the backpack. We'll grab you. We'll grab you, and we'll grab you. That'll be another 30,000 we could dump in here. We'll get the machines rolling. Make sure my little ones are all nice and full. And I'll just deposit all again. We're gonna have to be smarter about them. Okay, go here. We'll drop off all those guys. But now we got enough water to refill, so we're going out with 2 full liter johns. And that's pretty cool. Oop, there we go. Still got a bunch. How much more of these can we get going? Another 24. So we got 146 with 20 already made. So we very quickly have gone up to 200 plastanium ingots. And that is super awesome. All right. So we got new wings. We got, dude, that's going to go. I'm going to get rid of that. We got new wings. We got all our gear set up. We've got our cutter array and we've got our compactor. Nothing left to do but head out and see what we can find. Now, I don't know if you remember seeing the map. Make sure that your ornithopter is set up to be your respawn point because your base is automatically going to be one and so can this. So you want to make sure you've got both of those set and ready to roll. That is another benefit to coming out here and building a small base is in the event that you get killed without one, your only option is to respawn either where you died or a checkpoint, or which will screw you over if you don't have any equipment or anything, or back at Haga. So, yeah. But I don't know if you remember, we looked at the map and you'll see here that I have some pathing that I've already done up into this area, up here, and then over to here. So on that map, there was Stravidium and Titanium in these 2 sections in large amounts. So this is where we're going to head. I'm going to set my marker for that. And we are going wings up. So building this far out puts me about 10K away from these large clusters of nodes. The community here refers to most of them, they call them like titanium or Stravidium islands. What it is a large rock cluster that has a whole bunch of nodes on it versus what we saw when we first came in where, you know, there's one here and one there. Level off, we could sit back. It's not going to take long before that yellow bar up there goes to red. So that's when we got to be careful. Talking so much. Here's our zone change. And there we are. So now we're in PvP area. Somebody could hurt us if they want to. So how do we survive? Again, like I said, I have no offensive weapons. I don't even have a rocket launcher on me, so maybe I shouldn't be telling everybody that. But I am 100% escape and evasion. Now, the best weapon you have in this and being in the deep desert is playing smart. When I come up to this island, I'm not going to be like, cool, look at all the nodes and just drop down and pick them up. I'm going to go around it. I'm going to scan it. I'm going to see if there's anybody else there. If there is somebody else there, I might move on or I might continue. We'll make that decision when we get there. I'm going to look for bases. Sometimes people like to hide bases on these islands because they're going to bring a buggy out to it and mine from the buggy because you get tons. So they'll make a small base with nothing but an ore refiner, grab all these things, go back in the base, and they honestly don't even care if somebody blows it up because they probably break that machine down each time, you know, they just leave the base sitting there. Kind of cheap and kind of getting away from the concept, but whatever, you know, to each his own. Sorry. But yeah, so we're going to scan the area and make sure there's no one angry about. Another thing is when you walk up to one of the nodes, just like in Haga Basin, you'll see the node with a couple little broken off pieces laying around. If I fly up and I'm not seeing a whole lot of nodes, but I'm seeing a bunch of broken little pieces left over, that tells me somebody's been there. And they've been there within the time that these things will respawn. So that puts me on a little bit heightened senses there to keep an eye out just in case there is somebody around. As we fly over this one, I'm going to just kind of free look down a little bit. And we should start seeing some nodes popping up as we go over. Now, as you remember, we did see quite a few when we were in there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's about 8 nodes on that one little spot, that one little island alone. But in honesty, that's nothing compared to when you get to the big guys. All right. So now we're just going to kind of, and this isn't even one of the big ones, guys. We're just going to kind of cruise a little bit, see what we can see. I didn't see anybody coming in. I don't see any bases. So we might be in pretty good shape. This thing over here that looks like a little force field is a control point that has to do with the Landsrad. And people might be interested in that. If a Landsrad task comes up and they say, hey, you get extra points for holding this node, all of a sudden this area is going to get popular. And if you're not in a guild and not part of the group trying to get points for that, go. Time to go. All right, so we're going to check the skies real quick. I don't see anyone or anything. I like the fact that these nodes are everywhere. That kind of tells me that we've kind of got this area all to ourselves. All right, so we're going in. We're going to grab some titanium. I like this one because there's 3 that are very close, but I'm not going to grab all 3 at the same time. We jump out. I don't know why. We're going to get stuck on the wings. Don't do that. You son of a bitch. Oh my goodness. What are we doing? You've got to be kidding me, dude. Come on. Okay, so this is horrible because if somebody tries to attack me, guess what? Okay, there we are. So now that that ridiculous is done, we're going to pull out our cutter array. We're going to grab our first node. Scan. Not the time to be cute. We're going to miss that one because of the way it's over here on the side. Got it. Now, head back to your ship. On the ground, you're in danger. If somebody comes along to kill you when you're standing on the ground beside your ship, that's when it's going to happen. So inside your ship, you're safe, or you're dead outside. So always get close. Never stray too far from your ship. And you saw me transfer that little bundle of titanium over. That now opens up a new option for us. We could scan this, get an idea where the picture is. Come on. There we go. Now you get close to your ship. If you just hit F, it automatically sticks anything that's already in your storage from your backpack. The only thing we got is titanium. So now we instantly transfer it over. I've been standing here yabbing with you guys, so we're going to do a quick peek around. I'm looking for shadows. I'm listening for any kind of wings, any thopters. I don't hear anything. We're doing okay. Pick up some of our stragglers here. Use my compel because my finger slipped. It's horrible. Thank you. All right, so we got that one done. So we're going to come over here. Tap F. Just tap F. You don't need to see that confirmation. Trust me, it worked. Listening and looking. Don't see anything. Now we're starting to get the heat stroke, but just like the Fremen we are, we don't care about heat stroke, right? That was as far from my vehicle as I ever want to really get. Now you'll see I hop in, heat stroke's going away. And just in that little section, we are now at 326 and almost halfway. It's a good little haul. Let's get airborne. And we're going to look around, just in case anybody tried to sneak up on us. It's been extremely quiet, so that's good. We'll come back down. Now, this is a great little spot because we are hidden from a majority of the map. Somebody coming from the PBE section coming up here to mine as well. They may not even know we're here, but we'll hear them. Unless, of course, they saw us, we didn't see them, and now they know we're out and about. Terrible, isn't it? Thank you. All right. Got two nodes right up here. While we're here, we're going to look around. I still need to do that. Okay, let's go. I'm too close to the Thopter, so it's throwing that off. Come on, man. Okay, so I just got the storage full notification. Eventually, I'll get up here. Thank you. So the Ornithopter is now full at 500. So we're basically going to be able to get a backpack full of titanium, and then we're done. I am not going to run over to those. We don't stray far away from our Thopter. And there we are. We're full. without looking or caring about anything else, up in the air, and we're heading back to base. So there you go. There's a successful run. Once we get up to altitude, um, we'll take a look at the load value, see how much we have. This is one of the benefits of having a small base is I can go out there, grab that, I can head right back. Whereas if I'm trying to head to Haga, it's going to take quite a while to get back there and come all the way through. So, all right, we're at 182. We'll level off. Let's take a look. So we got 555, strange, plus 124. So we got, we'll say 700, right? Because it's 675. So we're going to get about 700 volume worth of titanium in this run alone. If I drop some of that other equipment and the other stuff, I could. There are people that come out here in their underwear with nothing but a cutter array and a compactor and a dream. I prefer to play it the way you're kind of supposed to. I come out geared up. If I decide that I want to go do one of the testing stations, then I can suit up in the heavy armor and go without having to make huge long trips. Honestly, though, I could put it in my base, but I like to keep it on me because if I say I'm done with this, I can just go back to Haga without getting all sorts of craziness involved. But there we are. Now, you guys can't see it. You can see a couple words, but right behind where you see my beautiful face is the Deep Desert chat. And that is another tool for a solo player. The more you come out here, the more you'll start getting used to some of these names. And you'll start seeing some of their talk, some of their attitude. If there are people who love doing PvP, they'll be bragging about it, or they'll be challenging other people, or you'll see somebody who'll be like, you know, whoever was in the two Thopters over in I-7, you know, appreciate it. But you know somebody just got ganked. Don't go to I-7. You'll start to get a feel for that. You'll also start to see people who are the exact opposite. They have no interest in PvP. They'll do it. They like fighting each other, but they don't want to jump someone. So, you know, if you see those people out, then you know that you've got kind of a decent space where you can operate, fly in under the radar, grab your materials, and get out. So another thing. Also, if you don't put up in chat that you're, you know, if you don't say, "Hey folks, how you doing?" No one knows you're here. No one knows you're here. So we left our base not long after we put that second body in our death still that we made. So we're going to go and drop off these materials. Now we're going to take a look and see how much time is left on that. That gives us an idea of how long it took for us to do exactly what we just did. Sorry, I thought I was coming in way hot. Why am I always spawning on top of it? All right, we'll put that away and let's go see what this is. 26 minutes. So that thing comes up at 50. So it took us about 25 minutes to get out there, get our thing settled, and get in there. It's not enough time for this to have cycled. We still have quite a bit. But he's only got, he got another 25 minutes. So we could make another full run just like we did of more titanium before these guys are done and in our water tank, which is pretty cool. So we're going to come over here and we'll drop you. And then we'll go to our scout doctor and we'll drop those both in. So now we're at 700. Plus we still have a bunch here. Life is good. Rinse and repeat. So we got 32, 33 of these. Can only make a few more because, like I said, water is the issue right now. And although those wind traps are nice that it just passively does it with us just sticking filters in and watching the days click away, it's not the fastest thing in the world. So is what it is. This is the binding that I see personally for this. All right, so we already broke 100. Awesome. I'm either short materials or I'm short on water, and it seems like water is the more common shortage. So maybe I need more tanks and more filter type stuff. Maybe make the base a little bit bigger. I don't know how long ago I finished like my wind traps and everything, filled up the tanks. So it may have only been 10 minutes ago. It could have been 10 hours ago. I'm not entirely sure. More cisterns definitely wouldn't hurt. I want to bring up something else. There's a large island right here next to me. When I first came out here, I thought about building on this island, but I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. But I came over here a whole bunch in the very beginning because there are tons of fuel cells and salvaged metal on this island. I have salvaged metal over there by me, but I didn't have any fuel cells. I kind of prefer to build on a spot that has fuel cells, but it's okay because there's one there. Do not want a vulture. Apologies. There'll be another one over in this area. Where are you at? Oh. There's one there. There'll be one right in this area. Somebody might have taken it. Oh, there's one here. Look at that. We got a titanium node right close to us. Why not? It's what we're out here to do, right? Huzzah. Now this we can do a little... Oh, I shot up high there. We can do this a little less strategic because we are in the PvE zone, so we don't have to worry about bad guys. But I also like to try to keep my edge once I'm out here. There's more fuel cells right there. Another box right there. So you get the point. There's a bunch of fuel cells over here. And this is what I was able to fill my base power with. So you always want to locate where you've got a good source of fuel cells. Fill up exactly or, over what you need for the week. And life is good. That salvage metal. Okay. I didn't know what that was. So it scared me. Wonder if there's some more titanium or stravidium in here. We are going to drop off anything we grabbed because I'm going to go out. We're going to have a fully empty ship. I don't want to go out there partially full already, especially since we're this close to the base. Hi, neighbors. I'm just checking things out. Don't worry. Okay, so you can't see it, but somebody on the chat here just said, wow, I've never been camped before. Nice try, though. That tells me that there's someone who is not behaving properly on this server right now. And he conveniently says H3 large spice being camped actively. So thank you, good sir. We know that H3 is an area that we maybe don't want to go. We're going to get stuck. So here's an interesting thing that I do want to point out. This guy, I don't know him. I've seen the name. He was normally just talking with people, being friendly like normal. We need water. But he just said about how the spice field is being camped. Is it? Is it? Or is that just what he thinks? Did he go there and someone attacked him? So he thinks they're camping. I'm not going to sit here and debate whether or not he's... Is that a ship? It hasn't been hit yet? You don't normally see craft in the air. I don't know if you guys could see that. No, it looks a little dark over there. I don't know. There's a ship flying through the air. Big one. Another one over there. I'm wondering if those are the ones that eventually become shot down. I'm wandering. I'm sorry. We're going back out after more titanium. Since we know that island was uninhabited, at least it was, we know that we can get in there and get out pretty quick. So we're going to go grab another full load, another 700, and bring that back to base. By then, the death still should be done, and we'll be able to throw in and get some more plastanium. But yes, so I'm not accusing this guy of lying. I just think from, one viewpoint versus another, it may not be what he thought it was. He might be dead on. They might be camping it. Or he may have just ran into a situation. I was hanging out with my guild. I was actually just messing around, and they were taking our carryall and a spice crawler out to a spice field to harvest. So they wanted escorts. So we put our teeth on and got our fangs, and we flew out here, met up with them at the spice field. Now, I don't know why, but if you're a fan of Dune, in the books they describe carryalls or they describe the sand crawlers as like beetles, like they look almost insectoid. And in the 1984 Kyle MacLachlan Dune movie, they kind of also had a bug, like with little beetle leg things. In the Timothée Chalamet movies, they're more of an industrial look, like almost like a square tank. They have treads and all that stuff. In Dune Awakening, they look just like a giant vacuum cleaner. But I don't know why they went that route, but whatever. But yeah, it's basically that's what it is. It's a giant vacuum cleaner. For some reason, it is not aggro worms very much. So you can drop that on a field and it can go multiple runs, full length. Never see a worm. But if you have somebody who drops in a small craft like I'm in and starts compacting with a compactor, probably in about 30 to 40 seconds, you're going to get a worm. So for me, in this little ship, all I got to do is run over to it, hit E, I jump in, I hit W, go straight up, get the altitude until the shock waves go away, and then once the worm rides on, I drop down and we rinse and repeat. But for a carryall and a carrier craft, carrier thopter, they have to drop down. I'm going to stop talking for just a second. We just want to do exactly what we did before. It's going to take a nice little cruise around and see if anything's up. Now, we took most of these, so that's fine. Those are still there, and I'd love to jump down and grab them, but I'm not doing it right away. But things still look pretty good. I don't see anybody, and there's a lot of nodes. All right. But anyway, like I said, so we actually dropped our crawler, and he was having a blast. He did his first full row, and no one came over. He did his second row, and as he was getting towards the end, a solo player flew up in his ornithopter, and we sent him a message. Remember, I got to put that first batch over here. Now I can just hit F from this point on. But we sent a message and was like, hey, bro, we're almost done. Give us a bit. The reason we wanted that is because we didn't want him to risk our carryall and our crawler because he was going to draw the worm. We weren't. He was. He either didn't see it or didn't care. So he just jumped out, started thumping away with his compactor. And of course, as expected, I would love to go get that, but I'm not getting that far away. As expected, in comes a worm, right? So we managed to get our carryall off the ground. And while he was up in the air, one of our escorts kind of went up and just gave him some nudges. It actually wasn't a violent act. He was just kind of being like, yo, dude, stop. And another message was sent in chat. Hey, buddy, we're almost done. And he flew around in like a half circle a little bit, like spun. Just checking to make sure there's nobody about. And then he went right back down and started compacting again. So finally, one of the escorts was like, yeah, I'm done with this guy. So in came the rockets. Now, we didn't shoot to kill. That wasn't our intention. We wanted him to go. And he jumped back in and flew off. And we kind of just watched him go. One of the escorts made sure he was actually leaving. And then, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes later, there's a message in the Deep Desert chat where, real cool guys, there's plenty of spice for everybody. So now you can talk. Where was his comms in his chat when we were trying to send him a message to, hey, give us a few minutes? And it only took, shortly after he posted that message, we were done. We'd filled up the crawler and had a full load and everything was ready to go. Sorry, double tap that. Just listening for bad guys. So the escort that actually nudged him was like, dude, I tried. I was talking to you. So he was using proximity chat. And another guy, the guy that was actually flying the carryall, was like, yeah, we sent you multiple messages, dude. We were almost done. And he's like, well, you didn't have to do that. It's like, okay. But you get the point of where this story is going. We made friends later. So, you know, once he understood why we were doing it. But from his point of view, we were just douchebags. There's plenty of spice. He was the only other person besides our carrier. Okay. When the lady's nice enough to actually be on a timely manner with those, you need to seek shelter. Don't try to outrun storms because you normally can't. Not sure where this one's coming from. So we're going to keep going and get a little more. Normally what you would do is drop a still tent and store with the backup tool your ornithopter. But with it being full of materials, we don't have that option. So we got to find a place to tuck it in and make sure she's safe. Storage is full. Awesome. And once we know she's safe, then we'll stand outside, weather this storm real quick. All right, everything's full. Good Lord, that took no time. Normally on the compass, you can see these storms, but I'm not. That makes me wonder if it's coming in behind me. So I'm 10K away. I will not make it. Even if it's coming directly behind me, I will not make it in time. It's got to be. Otherwise, I would see it. So it's got to be coming from almost that direction. Look, there's a spice field. It's a large spice field. We'll talk about that the next time we come out here. But yeah, so in Dude's opinion, we were being douchebags because there was plenty of spice. Everybody could get it. But he didn't understand that his actions were jeopardizing our equipment. And carryalls and carriers are expensive. And it takes a lot to get them. And we don't want them to just get destroyed because some guy that we've never met or we didn't know was jumping down there throwing his compactor down because he could get away from a spawning worm faster than we could. So we chased him away. So this guy here just said he got someone's camping one of the locations. Are they? I mean, that's just what his opinion was. All that matters to us, though, is that contact has been identified. He said he got away. Okay, there's the storm. Where's it coming from? We're going to try to outrun this one. Not because I think we can. You can outrun storms. But if you see this, Oh, she is coming straight at us, and it's kind of wide. How far are we? 6K? She's closing fast. I could have just sat down back on that island where all the titanium is and sought shelter there, because you just need to find a little spot, a little alcove, something. As long as it says sheltered, you're good to go. But looks like somebody else got killed here. Uh-oh. And somebody wants to kill the guy who just killed that person. So we got some stuff going on here. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't want to. Okay, we outran it. Well, we didn't outrun it, we outmaneuvered it. So that storm is actually not heading towards us, it's heading off in the side direction. And we're good to go. So we don't have to worry about that storm. If it's coming directly at you, you'll never outrun it. But this one's heading 90 degrees to us, so we were able to get enough distance. Even though it was getting closer, it's going to scrape. I think we can see it on the map, maybe. No, it's not an area we were in. So, sorry. But why not just find a little spot there in the island? Because that's where people are headed. And we don't like to hang out where people are headed. So we're going to find another spot as close as we can, to wherever we're going, whether we're still out there mining or whether we need to get back to base with a full load like we have. But we're going to clear out of an area that's going to be popular and seek shelter someplace else. That's smart. All right, so we are back. We'll drop down. This bay I made large enough for the assault to fit in case I have to get angry. But yeah, before we were making it just the exact size of what we needed for the scout to fit in. All right, so we're going to drop these over. We are starting to get a little full here. We are too full, ladies and gentlemen. We still have 166 in here, but it should be okay because we should be pretty close on these guys being done. 6 minutes. 37 there, so that's good. We can make 6, that's all, because of the water. We're doing great, folks. We are doing great. That's not the one I wanted to go to. Oh yeah, we're full up. If I pull all of that, or not all of it, but most of it, I think I can get everything from the scout in there, yeah. There we go. Oh, she filled up again. Holy cow. Oh, but you know what? We can put that there. And now we're good to go. Look at that. We figured it out, I guess. But unfortunately, we got a bunch of stuff in our backpack right now. And we got a bunch of stuff in there. How much space do we have? We have a ton of space in here. Oh yeah, we're good. All right, so just a little moving and shifting got us what we needed. So yeah, we're at 141. Awesome. And we did have some stuff, right there at the beginning. We kind of had a little bit of help. I think, no, I still can't put it in, but I can get rid of these. I don't think that's going to be enough. Let's do 2. What I would like to do is make these the big boxes, like the medium, these are just small containers. And as you can see, sometimes you got to get creative with these things and maneuver stuff and switch positions and all that silliness. But we're going to kind of hang out here for the next 6 minutes while we wait for both of these guys to pop in there. When we do, we'll get some more stuff running. Yeah, these guys are going at each other, but most of the people here speaking angry words. I know, I recognize the names. Three minutes, 93%. It's pretty cool. So this guy's going to drop 45, and so is this one. So we're going to get 90,000 in there. Definitely doing good. I want to see how many. Okay, yeah, so I don't have any of these backed up. So we do definitely need to go on a Stravidium run. We're going to do that after these guys are done being made. And we're going to make a run back to Haga and carry some of the materials that we don't need and some of the stuff that we just made we'll take back with us. All right. Give me just 1 second. I gotta. Hey, we're back. We just had a little. Yeah, we're stirring the pot a little bit. Almost done. 10 seconds. So you can sit here and watch, and once that body shape goes away, that now means that there's water in here. So we got our 45, and that's actually going to pop up real soon with the other one. Real soon. Real soon. Oh my God. Oh, it's over a minute away. Okay, so since this is not being used, I don't have any dead bodies in there to stop. I will go ahead and shut this down just to make sure this number stays right where I like it. And we got another 45 in there. We can't make any more Stravidium because we didn't get it. Let's see. And now we can make 37. Not a whole lot, but that was all the water reserves. And in just about a minute, that's going to go back up, and we'll push the button and get through as much as we can. And we now have two problems. We do have a ton of Stravidium fibers, so we're good there, but we need water. So at this point, what we'll do is we'll load up everything that we've made here, all of the plastanium. We'll take back some items that we don't need, and we'll go back with empty liter johns. We'll go fill them up. We'll throw some bodies in the storage box, come right back out here, and we'll continue. There we go. Make another 36 to rinse and repeat until we're done. But yep, this is the deep desert. I have a rather active PvP server. It's a little controlled. What I mean by that is if you want to do PvP, you either have to go to, sometimes these guys like to make a little dojo area. It's like a little fighting arena where they fight each other just to down. They don't actually kill each other. Sometimes it happens and then everybody's real sorry about it. But it's just testing and it's not for realsies. So if you go to the dojo, you could get into a fight or you could watch a fight and it's just people practicing. But when you go to the testing stations or the ships, you're going to get hit. And when you go to a large spice field, if there's a carryall, they've got escorts and rockets are probably already on their way. So as a solo, I come out here for materials. I don't go to the testing stations, although I'd love to and I need to. Not by myself, I'm not going to. And I don't go to large spice fields. I'll let the guilds and the carryalls and the groups of people, they can all go to those. If I come across a spice bloom, I'll grab it. It's good enough for me. The mind frame I have, or the mindset I have for that is that you can't get, well, at least before the patch you couldn't, but you can't get the titanium and the Stravidium back in Hagar. You can only get it out here. So those materials are my priority. I can get spice back in Haga, not as much as I can get out here, but I've got enough to where I don't need it that bad. If you're in the position where you need it, then instead of coming out here and getting the materials, knowing where they are, just fly around. Eventually you'll see some spice blooms. As a solo player, you're going to live and breathe on small and mediums. The large ones are usually a death sentence unless there's no one there. If you land and start taking from the large field and then you see people come in, might be time to go. I wouldn't let more than 2 other people be there. And if you see a carryall and some escorts, just go. They'll probably let you go. They don't want to kill you. They don't want to fight you. They just want you to leave because they want the spice for their carryall. And if you go away, now you know where a big group of people on your server is. Just don't go there. That's all I could say. I mean, I have died twice in the deep desert. Once was at a large spice field where it was just people in with compactors, and they honestly, I knew better. I should have left. There was just too many people. There was just too many people around, and the worms were getting summoned over and over so quickly, and I was like, dude, this is not going to go. And he came right up, right on the spice field, killed me and a guy next to me. The second time was a dude in a rocket buggy, and he did kill me, but I was able to respawn, get in my thopter, and get away before he blew me up again. And then I came back, went to my base, got my rocket pods, and then I went out and settled that score. Um, those are the only times. So it could have been something that I've done all over the place, but I tend to try to avoid the conflicts, and it works out pretty well. That's the mind frame you need to have as a solo player. is that, you know what, the big fields, I'm going to take this back because it definitely doesn't need to be out here. The big spice fields aren't for you. They're for the bigger guilds with all those ginormous pieces of equipment. So let them have it. They can have it. I'm going to split this because I don't know if this is out here for a reason, but I definitely know I don't need that much, and I know why these are here. I'm pretty sure I know why those are. We'll leave this here. That's not a whole lot of stuff. But here we go. We filled up nicely, and I've also got some space in case we do come across something on our way out. But yeah, big spice fields are for guilds and carry-alls. Okay, so there's a spice bloom. We're going to actively show you what's going on. If that disappears right away, that was a small. If it sits there and continues to explode like it looks like it's doing, that's either a medium or a large. I'm not sure how far away we are. So you've seen small spice fields in Haga all the time. Big explosion, shockwave, you fly up, there's a little patch, you land, you take it out. A medium spice field, which is, if I'm not mistaken, what we're approaching right now, continues to pulsate for like a minute or two after it blows. As a solo player, keep in mind that is telling everybody that could see it like we did that, hey, there's a bunch of spice here. I don't know if this is a large field. I'm not sure. But what we are going to do is we are going to do a very quick flyby. That's a medium. And we're going to see what's going on. We'll see if there's people there already. If there is, bye. If there isn't, we'll go down and grab some. Now, if there's no one here and we do start farming this, I do want to warn you, I am not certain what the changes to these worm spawns and the aggros and all that stuff are. So I'm going to play incredibly conservative, like seriously conservative. So approaching this, a couple things. Number one, keep your eyes open. You may not see anybody in the air or on the ground, but you might see circle patches opening up on the field itself. That'll indicate someone's there, even if their ship and them hasn't rendered. Number two, inside that spice bloom, you won't be able to see anything because it's all purple and scary and rainy. So you're going to get jumped. You probably won't see somebody before they've seen you. So I don't see a single soul here. And it looks like we're good. Now, unfortunately, we are carrying a bunch of stuff, so we can't get a whole ton of spice. Also be in vulture mode because you're silent. No one will know. Don't do that, by the way, because that's dumb. That's a dumb thing to do. A little bizarre, isn't it? So I can pull it by hand, but my compactor's not doing anything. I don't want to sit here and take this whole field by hand. Don't get me wrong. But why is the compactor not doing anything? So as you can see, like I'm saying, you can't see anything really if you're in here. Eventually this does calm down and it just becomes a normal field. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason we are unable to compact this, but we could pick it up by hand, which is ridiculous. But rather quiet. I gotta admit, I'm kind of tempted to see how long I can get away with this. After all, the spice must flow, right? I don't know how well you can hear the gurgling and rumbling sounds, but that's common for a medium field. All right, I'm actually going to get airborne. Okay, there we go. So the cloud is dissipated. That must have happened just as we were getting ready to leave. Got 93 spice at least. Let's see if that changes anything. And now that it's calmed down, can we compact? Omnistatic compactor. I have not seen anyone complaining about this. And I know there's nothing wrong with my compactor. I want to ask chat, but I don't. The deep desert chat, because, you know, in case bad things start to occur, I want to be able to run away and I don't want to be stuck in a chat menu. I was doing a medium field one time and I was alone, completely alone. And I pulled a load from it and went back to my base, came back out, got a second, went back to my base, came out for a third one, and my compactor broke. And I was 39 away volume for filling up that third load. And I did this. Took an entire cycle, like it went from night to day back to night, but I got the full amount and got that third storage capacity load. I'm uncertain as to why this field is this way. I do know that your compactor will not work if there is a like sometimes in Haga this happens where there'll be a flour sand field and then a spice field right next to them, and where they overlap, it doesn't work. But I'm not seeing that here because exactly what happens when you shoot your compactor and nothing occurs. It's like just shooting it through the sand. That's the same thing that happens. Well, we finally got tired of my nonsense. Doesn't seem to be any different. Okay, so I popped it up into chat to see what's going on, see if anybody else experienced that. So I pulled from there, and both of those sections are dead. Let's come over here, and we'll see. Nope, this spice field actually is unequip your compactor and equip it again. So let's try that. Dangerous to do. Oop. So Whisper in the chat told me unequip your compactor and equip it again. And now it's working. Not sure what that's all about. So there you go, courtesy of Whisper. Thank you out there, Whisper. We have learned that if you come out here and it doesn't work, just unequip your compactor and equip it again. And you should be good to go. Let's come over here and hit F. Transfer some spice sand. Seems like it still takes a while for worms to show up. Don't know how much of this we're going to get, guys. All right, storage is full. We've only got a couple more rounds of this. But honestly, we're 7K from our base. No one's found this yet, except us. But the key word there is yet. But the word yet seems kind of normal from my previous experience doing these. Don't seem like the worm is any nastier. All right, backpack's full and so is this. How much do we get? 709. So we figure a small spice bloom in Hag is going to be 500 to 600. And we just snagged a whole bunch. I'll tell you what, I mean, we did materials. Let's just do this. So I'm going to go back to the base, drop off all the stuff that we loaded up to carry. And I'm going to come back and see if we can get another full load out of here. And then that'll be it. We're already over the 2-hour mark, but you know what? Some things are worth it. Now you'll notice real quick, I popped onto the map and marked it. Since I know I'm not going to be going to the Stravidium type areas, titanium and Stravidium, we'll put a marker there so we could find it super quick. So we'll get up to the 180. See if we can do this 5K real quick, spin around, be back out in under a minute. It's like Indy 500 pit stop, and we'll see if we can get a full load of spice. And that would be really cool. We can't process it out here. And we also can't take a full load of spice plus other things, so it is going to kind of mess with us. Now, you'll notice that I typed into the message was like, hey, my compactor's not working. And somebody was really nice and kind of helped me out. Told me, oh, do this and it'll fix it, which it did. That's awesome. Now we're able to compact. I'm not going to tell everybody I was picking stuff up by hand, and unfortunately, it's already, you know, out there in the world. But notice I didn't tell them where it was. Not yet, anyway. That would be super nice and super friendly and be like, oh, thanks, Whisper. Hey, here's where the spice is. Might send a private message to Whisper, let them know. Just because they were nice to help us. Or we might just get everything we want and then we'll do it. Or we might not say a word at all. I don't know. Okay, we're back here. Let's not get hit by our own wings. Awesome, thank you. I guess we'll just go here and we'll drop you off. And we'll go up here and let's just see if we can get as much in there as possible. We can get everything but the fuel cell. That's good. All right. So it's 6K back. Supposedly, yes, they increased the top speed. I was flying mine earlier. It wasn't as terrible as it used to be, but I would still say it was kind of bad. I think it's going to be neat to see what the assault can do in a PvP battle, but as far as collecting materials and ferrying, I would still prefer and will still use the scout. It's just too slow. It's too slow for me, and the lack of maneuverability just causes me issues. I haven't put a thruster on one and tried it yet, so I'm not sure. But yeah, as far as supply runs like this in the deep desert, I still, unless they could really increase the speeds, nah, it's just that extra double capacity, not enough for me. And especially since I'm a solo scavenger, I'm going to try to find things that are close to my base. This is like 5-6K away. That's a good sign. We'll see what kind of spice flow that is. That looks to be a small. Yep, that was a small field, so it's going to dissipate. Which might work in our favor because anybody that's on their way out here might see that, go to that instead of coming over here. It'll buy us a wee bit of time. All right, let's see if somebody came across it in the little bit that we were gone. That looks like our removals. I don't see anything else. Okay. Why do I keep showing up on top? Kind of changed it graphically, didn't they? So what I'm doing right here is the worst thing you could possibly do. You do not need to watch this. At that point, you should be looking around. You should be listening. This thing is going to make itself no matter what, whether you're staring at it or not. Little mouse? No, it's okay. I'm not going to shoot you. So you do that, and then you kind of scope around. You'll see all the junk flying around because this medium, blue. But yeah, let it do its thing. You're keeping yourself safe. That's your main goal right here. Very quiet, which is awesome. We love that. Two. Drink some water because I know we're heat stroking. And we're at 164. We probably won't take all that pile. So let's go back. We got to drop the first set in. So now I'm not going to get too far away from our ornithopter. Come on. We'll take some time to stand in the shade here, which will help a little bit. Also, that should put us close enough to tap F and dump all our stuff in. Now, some people will sit there and just pound away, make as many piles as they can, and then the worm comes, so then they just go up, and then when they get back down, they just pick all these things up. I prefer not to do that. I do like to slow and steady instead of just pounding away at this thing and then, hoping to keep it there. 118, we're doing well. I usually do 2, and then we look at the sky. Now I do have the soft step boots on, so yeah, I understand. But as you can see, I'm looking around, I'm moving, I'm shooting the harvester, the compactor. So we definitely have plenty of time, So it is different than Haga. I feel like we're getting close though. Another thing that gives your position away is what's happening right now. People would be flying in, they will not know there's a spice field over here. They'll have no idea. But now that the worm got summoned, they'll know there's a reason for it. So they could come taking a look and see what's going on. We're going to let that disappear before we fire off another round. But I want to pick this up because it only lasts for like 30 seconds. There we go. So yeah, the fact that the worm just came up, that gives people in a certain radius, they'll know what's going on right now. We're going to push it a little bit, go with 3. I'm doing that because I know I'm getting full and we just summoned a worm. So he's not likely to come back too soon. Okay, it's just wind. Making sure I'm not too far away from my escape route when things go bad. So medium fields are great for solo players. Guilds probably don't go after the mediums. It's just not worth it to bring a carrier over there for all the potential problems that you could run into, like a worm getting summoned and coming and killing people and destroying equipment. But so you don't have to worry about a carry-all coming, although I have seen it. There was a time several weeks ago when big spice blooms just weren't happening. So people were out here in the deep desert not getting anything. And after several days, started seeing some of the bigger guilds and groups coming out here. coming out here and hitting medium fields with their carrier just to get anything, you know, just to get something. This is a little far. This is a little far away. Starting to get a little cocky, you know. Okay, so storage is completely full and I've got 195. We're actually going to move because I don't want to be that far away in case bad stuff does occur. Plus, this stuff's got great color. Look at how thick a purple that is. Don't know that I have enough storage space back at the base for this. We may have to make a box specifically for spice. I'd love to make a bigger one, but can't do that right now. I can. I just have to bring the materials out. All right, so I'm going to do one more, which should take me up to like 167, something like that. Once I pick this up. Add things. 166, that's pretty close. And I'll tell you what, that's going to be good enough. I can only pick up a little bit, so if I hit it with the compactor, it's going to create a pile that I can't gather all of. So there we go. So we're going to take this back to the base. We're going to, you know what? We're going to do it again. Why not, right? That's what we're here for. MK6 booster. F6 is dropping it. I wish I don't do the labs and the ships and stuff like I should. I'm still at the point where I've just kind of entered into the Plastanium world. I have the Scout, the Assault. I do have a Tier 6 buggy. I was gonna make a Mark 6 sand bike, but I was like, dude, I never get on the sand bike anymore. So there's no point in spending the materials for it. I did make a good suit, the Chome armor and the Chome still suit, and I did have a pretty good amount left over. But yeah, I'm still trying to get to the point where Plastanium is overflowing, and then I'll be doing more of the ships and doing more of the testing stations to get those schematics. And we did do me and my guild. We did go out last week or the week before and do a couple of the testing stations. I was very unlucky. But I did get a couple schematics, not the ones I wanted, but I did get a couple. So I would have to say that they did, in fact, improve the deterioration on wings because by now we should be seeing color change. We have made multiple trips. I think this coming in, this is our 5th landing here on this set of wings. So they said they were going to make them better so that they didn't deteriorate quite as fast. And I would have to say that they are they're men of their word. Which is awesome because man, these wings went so fast. So fast. Hopefully we got enough fuel for this. Once we get up here to cruising altitude, which is 7 to 750, we'll drop, get our 183 kilometers an hour. And then we're going to refuel in air, and we're going to get our water situation solved as well. So we'll level off. And let's see. Can I refuel? Nope. All right. So there's fuel cells in here. We'll bring these over. So my F to transfer them over is why they came. That used the partial. And now we're using the rest. So we are full there, which is awesome. Let's hit this button. And we're going to drink away. Everything's full. We're good. So this is our third trip to this medium field. We'll see if it's been found by anyone else. The deep desert chat has gone strangely quiet. And I'm going to show you a little tactic we're going to do here. It's not really a super secret tactic. Just kind of makes sense. As long as there's no one else here. So normally I like to make sure that we're very thorough with our work. So I want to get that stuff that's along that ring. But I actually don't want to do that right now. What I want to do right now is clear out more of this middle. Now you would think to yourself, well, yeah, dude, because that's where the thicker, darker spots are. Come on, man. But also, somebody else coming along will be more apt to bypass a field when all the good stuff's taken. So our intention is to strip out this middle, but we're not going to leave it. And although I usually end my streams at around the 2-hour mark, if I can take this whole medium field, I'll do it. I'll have to build more boxes back at the base, but yeah, we'll do it. Could keep going that way, but I don't want to. I want to stay close to the ship. On my approach, I make sure that I am super quiet and I'm in vulture mode, which is, so I could sneak up without people noticing. Of course, now I'm on the opposite side of that. Now people can sneak up on me. And the render distance in this game is terrible. They will be on top of you by the time you see them. Yeah, I haven't really I don't want to say that. That's just asking for trouble. Not really noticing big differences in the worm patterns. I don't feel like I'm aggroing them any more than I used to. And so far, haven't gotten one of those super scary quick spawns. The patch notes said there was a 50-50 chance we've summoned 2, or we've aggroed 2, and both times they were what I've always seen them to be. So once you've been at a spot for a good enough time, make sure you're not far away from the bird. Okay, that was just graphic. Also, they said they fixed the issues with being able to access the Atreides variant of these ships. I have the Atreides variant on the ones, my tier 5s, back in Haga, and I am not impressed with whatever patch they did to that, because I still have quite a bit of a problem. All right, so we're going to come in here. Let's go ahead and tap the button. Not like we had a whole lot, but we had enough. I know, buddy. You gotta be super quiet, otherwise the worm will hear us. Still not full. I'm a little closer than I would like. I still got plenty of time, but a little too close. Not too bad. Look at that. That's what I like to see. That is at least a medium. Another one spawning, which you better behave. Which people will head that way instead of heading towards us. Good things. All right, let's see if we can get down here and grab these before they despawn. We got one. And we got the other. Cool. Yeah, I'm being very disrespectful. I'm running and I'm just got to be getting close, right? So I will admit that in a situation like this, it would be nice to have an assault. The worms aren't coming that often. I'm here by myself. So I got real good control of the aggro situation. Still not. I'm going to check. Oh, we're very close. Okay. Oh, this is farther than I like to go. It'd be nice to have that extra storage space, but in the event that somebody angry comes, it's nicer to be able to get away. So we're starting to get sloppy. I don't know if you noticed, we're watching the spice harvest, listening to the environmental grumbles. If we're not listening to the sounds of people. All right, storage is full. And got some on the other side here that's still close. Kind of short shooting these. And 54, so we're going to get one more out of this, and then we got to roll. And yeah, we're looking at our pass. All right, how's she looking? We've done some damage. Oh, reading a chat message. Somebody finally posted something. I was like, no, no, no. Let's not start filling the server up with unnecessary peeps. You good? You're all right. Oh, shoot. 2.5 hours now. Oh, my goodness. It's what spice does to you. You better stop. You better stop. So we're going to do something here. Medium box needs aluminum and silicone. I know we got tons of silicone, and I think we got aluminum. So we should be able to make another medium box. I'm going to pop a third one in there real quick so we can dump this stuff in there. So I'm going to switch this guy out. We will pop a third box in. And we'll go for another round. We are running low on fuel. I think I got one more fuel cell in here, but I got to make sure that I remember. Yep, we can make another box. Oop, don't care about the placement. We just need a place to stuff some spice. I'll leave it there for now. All right, back to it. No, buddy. No. Another bloom off to the distance. And it looks like it's repeating. So that's going to be another medium. So again, we have spice that people can get drawn to leave ours alone. So we're going to get up to cruising speed, and I'm going to show you another little trick that we can do. We'll get height, speed, that is northwest of our position. And we are here. So northwest would be up there. So that's probably, what do you think, F6? Whoop, I'm not looking. Actually moving. Northwest of us again right now. That's east. That would be northwest. I must say that's probably around like G6. That makes sense? Okay, so it stopped pulsing. What I was going to do is I was going to put a note. Oh, wait, it's still pulsing, isn't it? I was going to put a message up there and saying, hey, there's a medium just popped in G6. So people would go to that. And that also helps them to leave us alone. Oh, it's still pulsing, yeah. Let's do that. So why do we do that? Well, like I said, people go there instead of over here. That leaves our medium field up, and that gives them something to do. All right, so do not like slopes at all. Slopes are garbage. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to work our way down the hill, come back up. It's a little farther than I would like, but I'd rather have a little bit extra to run than to risk my Thopter doing that stupid slide that it does. This also works nicely because we'll be able to limit our sun exposure for a little bit at least. Come on. Do 3. Maybe we're pushing our luck, but we're going to do 3. I like being thorough, guys. So that worm is starting to get a little agitated, right? Might be setting ourselves up here. When you jump in, don't be hitting the button to go immediately. Wait till you see the animation starting that shows that you've actually gotten into your ornithopter, and then you can press the button W in order to get some height. If you press it before you're actually getting inside, it won't respond. Then you're like freaking out. It's actually not the best placement in the world. It's usually not a good idea to put in the chat where spice blooms are. Because that'll make the mean people will camp it and other people won't trust you. But when we're using it to try to lure out individuals to buy us time. Either way works for us. I'm getting too far away from this to be happy. So we're going to start farther away and start making sure we're working our way back towards our ship. We've got totally left alone. Not a bit of arguing from me. Let's get in the shade a little bit. So the numbers, as this starts getting thinner and thinner, are definitely going to start going down. Although I do love being thorough when I do this, there's also sensibility needs to be considered. Like, is it worth it to start? As you can see, my compactor is starting. Hey, little buddy. That's how you guys end up in the little cases. But yeah, the more I do this, oh, he just went under. That's not good. The less I'm going to get from each time I fire it off, and eventually she is going to break. What is this? I had no warning there. He's just cruising. So when it starts sliding like this, I stay here or away from it until it finally stops. And eventually it will. Now we're okay. Although I wonder if you stand on top of it, fire off your compactor, does that So people that I know that are kind of PvP dingleberries are talking right now in my chat about guarding a testing station. And they want people to try to come to the testing station so they could fight it out, see who could get the chest when it spawns, which is great. It's probably one of the reasons why we're being left alone. Please stop. Yeah, we're getting a little. All right, we are finally starting to get around the edge here. We're good on water. Let's do that real quick. And we're starting to get to some of these real thin spots. I know I've got some better areas over there, but we're going to save that and start clearing off the sides. Okay, so I fired off that compactor round, and we're red. So that means we have built up quite a bit of aggro. Nah, it looks like it still causes some aggro. The benefit, though, is I know I'm obviously in my craft. So, all right, there we go. It's full, and we're gonna get not even a really good pile. So let's just do one of these outside edge ones. Oh, come on. There we go. That's enough. You're fine. Can you guys see him back there? You can see his face. It's getting up there. He's gonna have to go do his thing here soon. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll make you a deal. I gotta go drop this off, and then I'm gonna go back out and do one more trip, and then I will turn it off. Is that a deal? Shake on it. Shake. Huh? You fall? All right. One more trip. Once I drop this off, one more trip, then we'll call it a day. Dude, we had an agreement. Oh no. No, no, no. None of that loudness. So, I know something that he doesn't know. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be much, but he does not know that it's raining. But when it's raining, somebody does not like to be in it. So he will go to the door, realize it's raining, and come right back in his house. He's like, no, I'll wait. It's fine. So he's going to sit there and make these little sounds. But I know once we go out there, you're gonna be hating life. All right, so here we go. This is the last trip. And this damn near is going to be an entire medium field that we've been able to get. You notice that I'm always trying to watching the skies, listening to this. You'll notice I'll stop talking sometimes and just be, what was that? Because I'll hear something, whether it was just a game noise or something, just in case it was anybody. I'm looking for shadows. I'm looking in the skies. We're bouncing around. We're keeping an eye on the chat to see what people are doing and what they're like. I know the guys that would most likely be attacking me are right now just super excited about waiting for the chest to spawn in one of the testing stations. So, and like I said, how do I know they're telling the truth? Because two people have gone there and they fought. So, they're actually there. Which gives me the freedom to do this. All right, so a worm just popped up somewhere. Where? What are you doing? I don't know why he's there and doing that. There's usually a reason for a worm. Not always, but usually. And you're going to be a lot safer and it's going to be a lot better for you if you treat it like there's a reason for the worm. Worms mean ships or people. It's the best way to look at it. Another thing that I'm keeping an eye out for is during this back and forth, I'm looking for another ship. See somebody flying by doing something else, like somebody coming to one of those islands to see me. And if they see me bouncing back and forth, they might come over to see what's got my attention. So at any given moment, I'm keeping my eyes open. It's how you keep yourself safe out here. We're gonna park right here and hope she doesn't slide. Good. Go back to this. A little bizarre. It took a long time. I gotta go faster because somebody needs me. Super far away. This is terrible. I'm a bad person for letting you see this. That was too far away. Uh-oh. Did we break again? No, I think that spot may have already been technically cleared. We'll see. I'm also not thrilled about this because my Thopter is uphill of me. It's still relatively close, but it's uphill, which means it's going to slow me down a little bit running to it. But there's nothing for it unless I put her all the way down here because anywhere in this area, she's just going to try to slide. 120, 30. I guess I was just too close to the ship. What's that? I saw a strange flicker. Come on. I'm not going to pick that one up because it was 166, so I knew we were close. I don't like picking things up twice. She had plenty of time. I don't like this because of this mound. That's how you get the sky haludes. Yes, he was so far away that he's potentially despawning. All right, we're gonna have to land on the downslope here. Hope we don't pay a price for this. Nah, she's stabilized. That's good. Oh, we made agreement, remember? We even shook hands. Interesting. This guy wants to fight. I don't think we're going to make it into the PvP area. He fell off. So there you go. Paying attention, we saw him as he came in. Okay, Eli, you gotta stop. We saw him as he came in. He jumped down, and as soon as I saw him, first off, I'm pretty sure he either jumped out and fell or he put a thumper down. But when he realized I saw him, that's when he scanned his little ornithopter in. That's why it disappeared. And then he ran over, and his goal was to jump on top of me, and he was trying to cut my wings off. What I ended up doing was moved through the zones because each little sector, whether it's a like E5, E6, E7, is another server. And what happened there, like here, we just transitioned from one server to the next. And what happened was my connection is better or worse, whatever, than his, and it produced me into the next zone before it did him. So it was a good try. As you could see, he cut one of the wings down to kind of red, another one to orange, and he didn't really hit the other two. And it looks like my tail might be a little bit hurt, but we got away. So paying attention and keeping your eyes open is how you survive. That guy, he just wanted to take my stuff. He just wanted to kill me. And didn't work. So there you go, folks. I'm kind of glad. We got most of that field, so that is a huge haul, especially for a solo player. We flew under the radar. We kept things pretty well quiet, and let's see how much spice we got once we get back. Now, when a person jumps on your craft like that, there's really nothing you can do. You can't shake them off. You can't, like, if you jump out, it's just going to drop, and yeah. Sorry. So there's really nothing that you can do except fly. Was way too far from the PvE zone, but doing that server change made him fall off. We might have made it to the PvE zone, I'm not sure. He was trying to use a skill that keeps his las gun powered off, but didn't work. So, anywho, so we've got about 10,000 spice here. 15, we'll say 16,000. And I don't know if there's any in here. So there's not. So yeah, so we just pulled 16K spice off a medium field for, I don't know, an hour and a half's worth of work. Stayed under the radar. We did get jumped, but we survived. It happens. I want to point out something. If I wasn't using brand new wings, he'd have got me. he'd have been able to cut through these half wings real quick, real easy. So a little bit of forethought, a little bit of planning, and some investment, and then just keeping your eyes open and staying ready is well worth it. So there you go, folks. Well, we're going to call it a night. I got to take him out, and we're going to see how we're going to get all this stuff back to Haga Basin now. I do have a guild base that I could process that spice at, but we'll see. We may end up having to bring the assault out here just because of that extra cargo space. Won't be thrilled about that, but it is what it is. So, anywho, thank you for watching. I hope that helps, and don't be afraid of the deep desert, guys. You keep your eyes and ears open, have a smart plan. You can survive. So, I'm going to call it a night. Got to take him out, and as always, I will see you out there. So, take care. Button stop.